Hello there! Welcome to Healing Mentality, being a better healer. My name is Tuskeh, and in this video we'll discuss having a healthy mindset as a healer and how it can help you become a stronger healer in general. Now, before we start, I'd like to cite my experience. I've been raiding since early Wrath of the Lich King, and since then I've raid healed Icecrown Citadel as a priest on normal mode, and as a shaman on heroic mode. And I healed the entirety of the pre-nerf normal Firelands as a druid. Basically, I've done my fair share of healing, and I'd like to discuss what I feel is a real problem with healing these days. It's this thing right here. Healing meters are, perhaps in my opinion, one of the worst things to have ever happened to healers in this game. It's poisoned their mentality and turned them into DPSers, really. It's all about the numbers, all about the total healing and the healing per second. Healers in my guild attempt to outdo each other on the healing meters, which, I will admit, by itself is good. Competition is great. But this stems from something very, very unhealthy. Pugs do the same thing. I've been in flex pickup groups where there's been a wipe, and someone's blamed the healers, and another person cited the healing meters to defend them. This is wrong! It's not about DPSing. As a DPSer, your damage per second is important, and being able to maintain a high DPS is crucial to your entire role, meaning that DPS meters do sort of work. There's a lot of emphasis placed on them, perhaps too much, but this isn't about DPSing. Healing is not about healing per second. It's not about who can out-heal someone else. It's about keeping the bloody raid alive! Healing per second and total overall healing are pretty pointless in my opinion. Having done normal mode raiding several times with several different kinds of healers, it's very easy to tell who are the talented healers and which healers are struggling. You don't need a healing meter to see that, and you can't see it with a healing meter. Let me give you an example. On Thok, most guilds will have a rotation of cooldowns to help keep the raid alive. I know of healers that when it's their turn to keep the raid alive, the raid stays alive, and other healers who, when it's their turn, struggle to keep up. You could argue that circumstance has a lot to do with this and their position in the rotation. But this is just one example from a long list of them. You can tell by watching the raid's health move up and down, by examining which healer's group tends to struggle with health more than the others on spoils. Things like that. You can't see this on a healing meter. But I'm somewhat going off on a tangent. This is about being a better healer. And in my opinion, you can become a better healer by completely forgetting about numbers and healing meters. For just about everything, they don't matter. What matters is you. How you play, and how you keep the raid alive. I could talk at length about the importance of understanding fights much more intrinsically than any other role, being able to predict damage, knowing when to use your cooldowns, knowing how to avoid damage, things like that. But this is pretty simple. You need to change your mindset. Ever since I got into healing, I've followed the mentality that my job is to keep the raid alive. But you can change your mentality a lot to help facilitate this. I know this is going to sound weird, but being a nice person can actually get you quite far as a healer. Your entire role is based around support and keeping other players alive. Taking that into your mentality can really help you achieve it, because it's important that you stop thinking about yourself. Of course, this is important of all players. If everyone thought about others, LFRs would be much, much nicer. But for healers, this is especially important, and in my opinion, necessary. If you spend your time while healing looking at the meters and trying to figure out ways to get to the top, then people are going to die. It's that simple. I know healers who have done this, and I've died because of it. Am I bitter? Just a little bit. Stop thinking about the healing meters and who's doing more healing per second than someone else. That's not how you tell whether a healer is good, and by focusing on it, it makes healers worse at their jobs. When I heal, I don't think about how I can get numbers. I spend my time thinking about the raid. Thinking about who is positioned where, when big spikes of damage are going to come in, when I need to use big AoE heals as compared to single target heals, and the unhealthy mentality that I've mentioned has made it into gameplay. The legendary Meta Gem and Cloak are perfect examples of this. The Meta Gem has a chance to make your spells free for a few seconds, and the Cloak proc distributes overhealing smartly to injured players. Both of these are terrible, because they take away the skill from healing. Suddenly, you have to worry much less about your mana and much less about overhealing. Healers can just spam now and never go out of mana, which is awful. And you, if you are a healer, need to get out of that mindset. Why? Because I'm ranting at you about it? No. Because Warlords of Draenor is going to change it. Just look at the changes they're going to implement. How you regenerate mana is changing. How you cast your spells is changing. How you prioritize stats is going to change. The spammy mentality where you just heal your ass off, even if the raid is at full health, is going to change. And you need to be ready for this. If you go into Warlords trying to spam heal like you do now, you are going to run out of mana and get pounded into the dirt. And yes, Warlords is quite far away, and right now you can spam and get away with it, and you can focus on healing meters and sometimes get away with it. But the truly awesome healers, the guys who keep the raid alive through the things they shouldn't be able to live through, those healers, the really great ones, are thinking about others. Not to sound strange, but they become one with the raid. They aren't thinking about themselves. So many players have turned healing into a race. It doesn't need to be. Nor does it allow for really great healing. Competition is awesome, but healing meters aren't competition. The classes and fights are too skewed in one direction or another for it to be so. Healing is not a competition by its very nature. You are not a group of 3 characters who stand in the back, surrounded by the chaos, and attempt to beat each other at throwing spells out. The healers are not enemies. They're the mysterious cloth-draped priests, the bulky paladins surrounded by auras of light, the mystical monks that weave the power of the mists, the savage shaman that imbue their totems with the power of water, the shape-shifting druids that call upon the power of nature itself. Your allies get stabbed, smashed, burned, incinerated, cleaved, thrown, stomped, destroyed, and you keep them alive. Their wounds seal before their eyes, and their bodies course with strength because of you. You save their lives, and you are the ones that pull through in the struggle for survival. You are the people who see everything. You watch the fight progress. You're the people who save someone who gets aggro, who heals them through a tick of damage that should kill them. You are the people who make raids possible, and that is awesome. That should be your goal. Make the raid happen. Push yourself harder to understand the fights. Watch for the little nuances in how the damage is dealt. Understand where you should be and be there before anyone else. Be the guy who can say, I have a cooldown for this. Be the guy who other people look at and say, holy hell, this guy knows what he's doing. And he's healing on top of it. Healers, listen. I can understand. Healing meters help to demonstrate your skill. At least that's what it seems, but they don't. Nothing can demonstrate your skill as much as raiding can. A healing meter can't tell you when you need to use your cooldowns. A healing meter can't tell you how to prepare for a fight and predict the damage. A healing meter can't tell you how freaking awesome you are for helping a raid survive that big AoE that it just shouldn't have survived. At the end of the raid, when all is said and done, you are the people that hold everything else together. You are the glue. Everything in the raid revolves around you doing your job right. Sure, the other roles are just as important, and you couldn't do your job without them, so don't use this as an excuse to be a cocky ass. Your entire role is based around supporting others, so try to be like that outside of just the game, and you'll become one of the best healers that your guild knows. Be confident in your abilities, push yourself hard, and for the love of Batman, forget the healing meters. You don't need them to be awesome. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you have any thoughts, make sure to leave a comment below and like or dislike the video. I'm always after feedback, so let me know what you think. You can contact me using the links in the description, or just leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe to catch my videos as soon as they come out. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck with your time as a healer.
Run away if it's about to hit smash.
Come on, you. Oh my god.
Sorry, I have to switch on my mic. I have to switch on my mic at this point to say, whoa!
You sound horrible.